In a former life, Chain Chomp was a wrecking ball, so he likes to create some damage, which makes perfect sense that he would bring with him today Rampage, this time for the Sega Master System with some just crazy good box art, which I believe was once an arcade flyer or something like that, and very unique red box bordering for the Sega Master System. I believe it might be the only US game for the Sega Master System that used the red bordering. Looks good to me. Let's go ahead and take Rampage, pop it into my power base converter, and see how this version holds up. Let's go to the game. Rampage was published by Activision and carries a copyright year of 1988. It is based on the 1986 arcade game. Rampage is a single-screen destruction game for 1 or 2 players simultaneously. According to the manual, you and your monstrous buddy are in the mood to destroy some towns, so that's exactly what you're going to do. Rampage on the Master System allows you to choose from all 3 monsters from the arcade game, including George the Ape, Lizzie the Lizard, and Ralph the Wolf. The goal is to destroy 10 cities: Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Dallas, St. Louis, Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, Philadelphia, and New York. Each city contains 5 areas, meaning there are 50 screens in the game. Defeat all 50, which takes about an hour, and you beat the game. And yes, you actually get an ending, which is unlike the arcade version as well as some ports of the game. You also get unlimited continues in the game, but you can't change monsters when continuing. When you start the game, you use button 1 to punch and button 2 to jump, and the D-pad to move as well as aim your punches and jumps. To climb a building, you press up at one of its edges. I found this difficult at first, as this version is very picky about you being in just the right spot to climb, but after a while I did get used to it. Once on a building, you can punch in several directions, including the building behind you and diagonally down to take out the edges. If a building is punched enough, it will start to crumble, at which point you will want to jump off, as falling off a crumbling building can really damage your life bar. If you take too long on a stage, a soldier will place a bomb at the foot of a building, which will be destroyed in a few moments. A stage ends when all the buildings are destroyed. Stages are also filled with various enemies, including soldiers, tanks, police cars, and helicopters. They can be defeated with punches, and punching soldiers will cause you to eat them to regain some health. If you fall on a bridge, you can become submerged underwater. Stay under too long and you will begin to lose life. Second players can also cause you harm. Sometimes punching holes in the building will uncover items. Some, like the person in the bathtub and food items, can be eaten by punching to gain health. Others, like the money, will give you points, and some will damage you if you punch them, like the cactus toaster before it pops toast and the poison. You also lose health if you punch an electrical sign. One nice feature that is not often included in home versions of Rampage is a bonus you can get by holding a certain person with a certain monster by holding down on the punch button but not letting go of it. If George holds the woman in red, Lizzie holds the guy in yellow, or Ralph holds the man in the suit, you will earn bonus points until the person breaks free after a few moments. Graphically speaking, the game looks great, almost close to 16-bit. I thought it was very colorful, with the monsters themselves looking better than most home ports, except I thought Lizzie's face during the actual game could have used a little more work. I also wish they had the newspaper headlines in between the stages. The music and sounds are okay and very Master System-ish, but honestly I just didn't care for them that much. Family friendly wise, there's no blood and everything is done in a tongue-in-cheek style, but there is a lot of eating people. There is also a person in the bathtub, and your character becomes nude when they lose all their energy, but you don't see anything due to the way they cover them up. On eBay, loose copies go for about $7, and complete copies range from about $15 to $22, and those prices include the shipping. So what did I think of Rampage? I actually thought that it was the best home port of the game I've played so far. It looks great, and it actually has an ending. It may take an hour to beat, but most versions do not end, and being the NES version will probably take you at least twice as long, and the ending is not really much to talk about. However, this version isn't perfect. It can be frustrating trying to climb up buildings, and there were times when I tried punching a building behind me when climbing, but if I was low on the building, I would dismount instead. Also, some buildings seem to take a lot of damage to take down, and there seems to be less items hidden in the buildings than in some other ports. And like most versions of Rampage, even though it can be fun when you start the gameplay can get old after a while, as all the levels look and play pretty similar. So where am I going to rank Rampage? Well, I think I'd rather play Enduro Racer by a smidgen, but it is better than Choplifter, so I'm going to make Rampage my new number 4 ranked game on the Sega Master System. Rampage on the Master System is the best home system port from the era, but the gameplay can get boring after a while. If you enjoy retro-related videos, would you please click like and subscribe? Also be sure to check out some of my many other videos covering Atari, Sega, Nintendo, and more. Thank you for giving me a little part of your day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the No Swear Gamer. Take care, and remember, don't eat the cactus.